Okay, so in this video, we're going to go over some of the structures of the brainstem, as well as we're going to dive into the deep brain nuclei as well. And so to start us off, we're going to look at this mid-sagittal section of a brain. And first, we're just going to start off by orienting our stem. So we know the bottom of our stem is known as the medulla oblongata. And as we move superiorly, we get into what is the pons. And so we can see the pons is nicely bulbous and protrudes anteriorly outwards, as like that. And then just above it, we have the midbrain. Okay. Next, we're going to look at the thalamus, which is this circular structure here. And inside of it is the interthalamic adhesion, which connects the thalami together. Underneath the thalamus, we have the hypothalamus, right here. And as we move upwards, get to the fornix, so white matter tract. And above the fornix, we have the larger corpus callosum. Underneath here, we have the septum pellucidum, which separates the ventricles. And speaking of ventricles, the third ventricle would occupy this space that we see here. And if we followed it downwards, we would enter the cerebral aqueduct into the fourth ventricle, sandwiched between the stem and the cerebellum. And just notable feature of the cerebellum are these arbor vitae, and these are white matter tracts. In Latin, arbor vitae means tree of life, and you can kind of see how it looks like that. So now we'll transition to the deep brain nuclei, and that's what this other model's for. And so the basal ganglia is this red structure where the white intertwining it, intervening through it, is trying to attempt to show the internal capsule, which are these long projections of white matter tracts. And it's a bit hard to appreciate in this model, and when you move to transverse sections, you'll see it a bit more clearly. But it's mainly separating the specific portions of the basal ganglia, which you'll see in a second. The first portion is the putamen, and that's this internalized portion here. And then surrounding it, we have the caudate, and the caudate is this like big C-shaped structure. And so the head of the caudate is anterior, and the tail of the caudate is thus posterior. And if we pull off, you can see the internal capsule a bit more clearly here. On the inner side of the basal ganglia, we have the global pallidus. It kind of looks like a little kidney bean poking out there. And there we go.